So however they finally decide on, we're ready. Yeah. Bring it on. Is that right, Harold? Absolutely.
Harold's the man.
So this has been an interesting week, ladies and gentlemen. Things have been done that should have been done over a year ago.
Yeah.
Because the fundamental mistake of the DUP in respect of the protocol was to allow it to bed in. And they did that by building the posts, by carrying out the checks at the posts, and then it having bedded in, a year later saying, oh dear, we shouldn't have done that. Who told them that from day one? TUV.
Yeah.
And of course, it is because of the grassroots reaction and yes, the rise of TUV in the polls that finally, at last, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson has done something he should have done a long time ago. Something he said he was going to do a long time ago. But then, in the month of October, he lost his diary and he couldn't find the date. And finally, he did what needed to be done. And that, of course, is quite a journey for Sir Geoffrey. Because another one of the fundamental mistakes that was made was when the protocol was first being launched upon us. It received a welcome from some who should have known better. The then leader of the DUP described it as sensible. Sir Geoffrey, it's there for all time, in a BBC Spotlight programme, said customs checks don't affect the constitutional position. Sorry, customs checks are the very epitome of the effect on the constitutional position. Why? Because you have customs when you're moving from one jurisdiction to another. We have customs checks because under this protocol, when you move goods from GB, you're moving them from the sovereign jurisdiction of the United Kingdom into the jurisdiction of the EU, because that is where Northern Ireland has been left by the protocol, under its single market, its customs code, its VAT regime, its laws, its court. So of course, customs checks are the most visible manifestation of an effect on our constitutional position. And yet, Geoffrey Donaldson said there was no constitutional significance to customs checks. It was a failure to realise the reality that allowed this protocol to bed in. And of course, TUV in contrast, from the very first time we read it, called it for what it was, a betrayal of Northern Ireland's position in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
There is nothing good about it. There is no good protocol, because it inevitably requires the continual and advancing exclusion of Northern Ireland from the UK. What is the protocol about? Well, it's very clear. By leaving us in a foreign single market for goods, the same single market as the Irish Republic, and under a foreign customs code, the same customs code as the Irish Republic, under the same VAT regime, the same customs VAT regime as the Irish Republic, by putting us under laws we don't make and can't change, overseen by a foreign court. The protocol is edging us, pushing us, expelling us from the United Kingdom. And it works on the very simple principle that if you can create economic unity on the island of Ireland, it is much easier to create political unity. And that's what the protocol is, a stepping stone in that direction. And that has always been its evil intent, to create Northern Ireland as an economic satellite in Europe, aligned with the Irish Republic, to build an all-Ireland economy. How do you do that? Well, you make it as difficult as you can for trade with the part of the nation of which you are supposed to be a part, the rest of the UK. And you compel businesses to trade more and more on a north-south basis. You cause people there economically to look to Dublin, not to London. You build through time a total all-island economy. And when you've built an all-island economy, then it truly is a short step to where they want to take us. That is what this protocol is all about. TUV identified that, said that from day one when others were talking their foolish nonsense, and were helping it on by putting up the puts post and bedding it in. But they've come to realise it's wonderful what an election can do. How it really concentrates the mind. And they've been raiding the TUV wardrobe to try and steal some clothes. I have to tell you, there's a lot more in the TUV wardrobe they could do well with trying on. Let me give them a few examples. What about some TUV clothes that says principle before power? It's not one of our problems in this province.
Here.
What about one that says no terrorists in government?
Here.
What about one that says no ifs, no buts, no Sinn Féin First Minister?
Here.
I don't know if you heard him this morning, but Sir Geoffrey wriggled, squirmed, twisted, turned, couldn't answer the question, will you or won't you? When he was asked, well, if Sinn Féin should be the biggest party, will you serve under them? Couldn't answer it, wouldn't answer it. TUV has no difficulty answering it. If TUV has the opportunity to block a Sinn Féin minister, we will do it with a heart and a half. And never forget this, ladies and gentlemen. There can only ever be a Sinn Féin First Minister if they find some stooge unionist party to nominate a deputy.
Here.
Because it's a joint office. And because it's a joint office, you can't have a First Minister without a deputy. And therefore there can only ever be a Sinn Féin First Minister if a unionist is willing to enthrone them, to help them to be the deputy First Minister. So the answer lies in unionism's own hand. Refuse to nominate a deputy, and there'll never be a Sinn Féin First Minister. And the only guarantee you have of that is TUV.
Here.
The Ulster Unionists, the DUP, won't answer the question. We have no hesitation, no apology in answering the question. And as we go round the doors in this election, of course there'll be all sorts of scaremongering about a Sinn Féin First Minister, but the answer is simple. Send unionists to Stormont who won't allow it to happen.
Here.
And that's the TUV. Of course, if you vote for those who won't give you an answer, then don't be surprised when they do the very thing that you didn't want them to do. So let's be clear, and let me deal with this nonsense. Oh, how that's not in government to make Northern Ireland work.
Yeah.
This is the party that won't even say the name of Northern Ireland. This is the party to which this very day justifies every murder, every explosion, every attack in pursuit of Irish Republican claims. And democracy? Surely the most fundamental tenet of democracy is that you should be allowed to vote a party out of government. You should be allowed to change your government. But the one compelling thing about mandatory coalition is you cannot change your government. You cannot vote a party out of government. So don't let anyone hoodwink you into thinking, oh, it wouldn't be democratic to refuse Sinn Féin. Whenever they give us the right to change our government, whenever they give us the right to vote a party out of the government, that'll be time to talk about what's democratic and what isn't. And I unashamedly, if I led the biggest unionist party in Stormont, would take the greatest possible pleasure, no blushes, no doubts, no ifs, no buts, in saying there will not be a Sinn Féin First Minister because there will not be a deputy.
Hear, hear.
So this party moves into battle form for this election. It's great to see this association growing. It's great to see the drive and the enthusiasm. And I say to you, let's all put our back into this election. For this province, I fear it is now or never.
Hear, hear.
Don't let us be the generation that fails. Thank you very much.